Welcome to the video lecture on the course of AMP and linear integrated circuit. In this session, we will be concentrating on the topic of band pass filter. In the previous video lecture, we had seen a band pass filter, the classifications of band pass filter depending upon the quality factors for Q greater than 10 and Q greater lesser than 10. For Q greater than 10, we called it as a narrow band pass filter, and for Q lesser than 10, we called it as a wide band pass filter. And we have seen the wide band pass filter which was employing two circuits combined together in cascade. That is, a low pass and a high pass filter were connected in cascade. So that was the thing what we had discussed in the previous video lecture. In this session, we will be seeing a wide band pass filter by using a single amplifier circuit. So there we use two circuits were combined together. Now how can we use a single amplifier circuit to enable to work it as a band pass filter, or what we call it as a wide band pass filter? We will see the circuit diagram of this particular circuit and see how it can be achieved with the lower cutoff frequency and higher cutoff frequency can be achieved with this particular circuit using a single amplifier circuit. Single stage, we call this as a single stage first order band pass filter. Single stage in the sense, since it is using a single amplifier, the op amp, it is called as a single stage first order band pass filter. So in this case, now taking the example, if the capacitors were not present in the circuit, that is if C2 and C1 were not present in the circuit, then the circuit would simply act as an inverting amplifier. Now in this case, we have considered the input connected to the inverting amplifier. Only for the simplicity of the analysis part, that is considered, we can consider it in the non-inverting configuration also. Now how the lower cutoff frequency and higher cutoff frequency are achieved? So for this, the two conditions are going to satisfy. The first one is Xc1 should be very small to be neglected at high frequencies. At high frequencies, Xc, the capacitive reactance, will be very small, and that capacitive reactance will act as a short circuit, and we are going to neglect it under the high frequency signals. And at low frequency signals, C2, that is the capacitive reactance of second capacitor, capacitance C2, is very large, and it is acting as an open circuit at low frequencies. This is how at two frequencies, that is low and the high frequencies, these capacitors are going to act. We will see the equivalent circuit at the low frequencies and high frequencies and see the voltage gains of these particular circuits. Seeing the circuit diagram at low frequencies, as termed earlier, the capacitive reactance Xc2 is so large that it can be considered as an open circuit. So the capacitive reactance is considered to be open, and it is not present in the feedback path. Now this circuit is acting as a inverting amplifier, as we can see. So on the input side, there is an impedance Z1, which is nothing but R1 plus J times Xc1. So in this case, it is R1 minus J times of Xc1. Since it is a capacitive reactance, it is R minus J Xc. So R1 minus J Xc1. Now, since it is an inverting amplifier, the gain of the inverting amplifier AV is nothing but the feedback resistance R2 divided by the input resistance, or the input impedance in this case, which is nothing but R2 divided by square root of R1 square plus Xc1 square. So this is at the low frequencies. Now as the frequency increases, what will happen to the capacitive reactance? You have to see. Signal frequencies, as the signal frequency goes on increasing, the capacitive reactance Xc1 becomes very much smaller compared to that of R1. So here Xc1 is very small compared to that of R1, so which can neglect Xc1 from the denominator expression of the voltage gain, and we can write AV is approximately equal to R2 by R1. So this is the case at signal frequency, is what we can say. Thus at low cutoff frequency FL, Thus at low cutoff frequency FL, XC1 is equal to almost equal to R1, what we can say. This is how we can get at the lower cutoff frequency or low cutoff frequency FL. At next part is at frequencies. At high frequencies, Xc1 becomes so small compared to R1, it can consider to be a short circuit in the circuit. C1 can be considered as a short circuit. So in this will be the circuit diagram where C1 is not present in the circuit. Again, this circuit acts as an inverting amplifier, but on the feedback path, it is the capacitive reactance and the resistance R2. These two are connected in parallel, which is considered as the impedance Z2. Now, the voltage gain AV will be equal to magnitude of Z2 because it is the parallel combination there on the feedback part divided by the input resistance, where Z2 is R2 parallel with XC2. Substituting this in the voltage gain expression, we get AV is equal to 1 over square root of 1 over R1 times square root of 1 over R2 square plus 1 over XC2 whole square, since Z2 is parallel combination of R2 and XC2. Now at signal frequencies in the pass band, XC2 becomes much larger than R2. XC2 becomes much larger than R2. Therefore, what happens in the sense, we are going to neglect that XC2 term. Therefore, AV will be approximately equal to R2 by R1. In both the cases, we have seen the voltage gain remains R2 divided by R1, which is the gain of the inverting amplifier. Therefore, at high cutoff frequency FH, XC2 will be approximately equal to the resistance R2. The resistance R2. In this way, we are going to achieve the lower cutoff frequency and higher cutoff frequency by using a simple single stage band pass filter. So thank you for watching this video.